Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got a cool little concealed carry pistol from Springfield Armory. It's the XDS 3.3. This particular one is chambered in 9mm. They also offer this particular gun in 40 and 45 as well. The colors that it's available in are the black that you see, a gray one, a flat dark earth, and it also comes with one variation with a crimson trace laser on it. So Springfield's really kind of targeting the concealed carry market with this. It's a single stack gun. So let me pick it up, show you a few things about it. Start with it is unloaded. The flush mount mag you see right here holds 7 rounds. It's got a polymer base plate and it sits completely flush, a little bit of protrusion. They also have an 8-round magazine available. This comes with the gun. It came with the 7 and the 8. And you'll notice, consistent with the XDM series, it really does integrate well into the grip. So the extension actually ends up giving you a full 3-fingered grip as opposed to the 2-fingered grip that you get with the flush mount. So from a concealed carry perspective, carry it with the flush mount for easy concealability and then use your backup mag for a little bit better grip, a little more capacity. Or you could even do this as a holster to nightstand gun and with the nightstand put in the larger mags. And they also have a 9-round mag available, which has yet a larger grip, but it also still integrates seamlessly. And at that point, you've basically got a full-size grip at this point. It isn't single stack, so it's real thin. It's only 0.9 inches thick at the grip. And the overall gun is actually fairly small. You put it on my hand, of course, if I had the smaller magazine in it, set it on my hand, it's not a very big gun at all. It's 6.3 inches front to back and between 4.4 to 5.25 inches tall depending on which magazine you've got in it. And it does have replaceable back straps. It comes with 2. The one that's on it and then another one in the kit. And the back strap also comes with this extension, and this matches the particular back strap. So if you change the back strap, you would also change this on the extended mag, so that you get that smooth, seamless integration where the back of the magazine kind of integrates seamlessly with the back strap. You don't have a little shelf there. So when you're holding on to it, it's real comfortable and it's real streamlined. So they've really done a good job with the back straps. It's one of the things that the back straps and the magazine extensions, it's one of the things I've seen that Springfield's done that beats pretty much all of the other ones as far as converting these concealed carry guns from a small pocket gun all the way up to something that you would put on your nightstand. The sights on this gun are actually quite nice. It's a 3-dot arrangement with the front sight being a fiber optic. And it's got the red tube in it at the moment, but it comes in the box with an additional red tube and a green tube, which for replacement if you break it and or if you want to swap the color out. Hammer had a bit of a hard time seeing the red one at the range because of course the targets are red as well, the bullseyes on the targets. And he's got another XDS that we had swapped it out with the green light tube. So we'll probably end up doing the same thing with this one, is putting the green light tube in it. Or we may actually go ahead and put some TFX sights on it. So there's an example of it with the green in it. The green really stands out, it's a lot easier to see. And especially when you're target shooting because you usually have a red bullseye. So we'll give that a try, and then we've also got a set of TFX sights that are on the way to check to possibly replace it with. The sights are dovetailed, front and rear, and it takes the same sights as the other XDM series guns, so you don't have to worry about getting special sights just for this particular gun if you do choose to change them out. But they're really easy to see, really nice sights for factory sights, especially in the smaller guns. A lot of times in these smaller guns, the sights are one of the first things to be compromised on. From a safety perspective, this does have the grip safety. And I know this is a real contentious thing. A lot of people just completely hate this thing. But the thing to keep in mind is if you grip it in even a reasonable shooting grip, you'll notice that pretty much as soon as I touch it, it compresses. It's almost impossible to get any kind of a grip on this gun where the gun's going to stay in your hand after you fire it that isn't going to compress this. I've never seen one of these things not go off because somebody actually had a proper shooting grip and hadn't compressed that. Even if I grip it all the way down here, which would be a horrible grip, the thing's going to flip all over the place, it still deactivated that safety and I can pull the trigger. So the thumb safety, or the grip safety, is really not a a deterrent factor on this gun. It also has the split trigger similar to Glock and a few of the others. It's part of the drop safety, and it does have an integral drop safety plunger. So when I get it apart, I'll show that to you. So overall, it's a very safe gun, no thumb safety, typical striker type gun. But it's very safe to carry it around, yet very convenient and quick to get into action when the time comes. It's got a Picatinny rail with one slot, so lights, lasers, and things like that. And there's quite a few different options that'll mount on a gun like this, so that it's very easy to put, whether it's a light or a laser you're looking for. You've got lots of choices from Crimson Trace and Viridian and a few of the others. Now, the trigger on this gun it's not a bad trigger. It's kind of a heavy trigger, but minimal take up. There is some take up, and then a little bit of creep and a little bit of stacking. And at the end, I'm getting some noticeable stacking. It's not so bad that you can't shoot the gun, but it is a little bit on the heavy side till you're used to it. You might have a little harder time, keeping it on target till you get used to the trigger. It's coming in around 7 pounds, 12.5 ounces. Now on the other XDS that we've got, it came in the same way, but after some rounds down range, it actually loosened up about 1/2 pound. Came in, a little bit over 7 pounds. So the trigger will lighten up over time. The reset is actually pretty decent. It's right there with almost no bounce, and then a minimal take up to get back on the wall, and again a little bit of creep and a little stacking. But overall, it's got pretty nice trigger, especially for these concealed carry guns, which oftentimes tend to have a little bit heavier triggers. But once you get used to it, a little bit of practice with it, you can quite easily keep the target and keep on target and fire the gun and get decent shots with it. Disassembly on this gun is actually fairly easy. Lock it back, flip this lever up, and then bring it forward. Now you do actually on this one have to pull the trigger. So you bring it back till it lines up and then pull the trigger, and then you can disassemble it. So let's set the slide aside and look at the frame a little bit. On the frame, you've got actually decent length rails for the front. You go this entire length. Nice robust locking block. A polished half feed ramp at the bottom. The rest of the feed ramp's in the barrel. I'll show you that when I get the slide apart. And then pretty robust rear rails as well. Nice and thick, long, and fairly wide. So it's got a nice solid construction. It definitely does appear to be a well-constructed gun. Everything in here is machined well, smoothed, and polished where polishing would actually do some benefit. None of the polishing was done by us. This is the way the gun came. Overall, it's the quality you've come to expect from Springfield Armory. Just a very well-built gun. Set that aside. I'll take out the dual recoil spring captive, similar to the Glocks. Here's your 3.3-inch barrel with a nice wide, very polished feed ramp. This gun has been reliable as far as feeding. Whatever we fed it ate, and these are actually known to be pretty reliable feeding, especially with that nice solid feed ramp and good polish on it. Well constructed barrel, well machined. And in the slide, at the front here, got the drop safety piston right in front of my finger there. Typical, striker fire drop safety mechanism. They've polished the loading ramp. So this is the way it came from the factory. You got the sear here at the back. And again, just machined well. Time was spent to do this right. So you've got a really good high quality gun. So we go ahead and put it back together again. Drop the barrel in. Got the slide reassembled. Putting it back on the frame is easy. Slide it, lock it back, drop the lever down, and you're back in business. From the perspective of shooting it, it was a little more difficult to shoot well with this thin kind of rectangular grip and slightly heavier trigger. It did take a little bit of practice with it to zero it in and get to the point where you could shoot it well, but it didn't take a huge amount of time. So this is a gun that once you buy it, spend a little bit of time with it at the range, get used to it, get your grip dialed in so that you know how you want to hold this gun and pull the trigger. And it is very possible to get nice tight groups with it. Just a little bit, not quite as intuitive or quick as some of the other larger guns. The comparison from a size perspective, I'll put the magazine in it. This holds 7 rounds. Another gun that might be vying for your attention in that same territory is this Glock 43. And this holds 6 rounds. And it's roughly the same size. So I put them side by side. Line them up, beaver tail to beaver tail. They're roughly the same size. Maybe just a Glock might just be a hair shorter, but not really a consequential amount. And from a thickness perspective, the Glock again is just a hair thinner, but not a consequential amount. From a height perspective, the Glock is a little bit shorter, but do keep in mind it holds 1 fewer round. So the difference in height is roughly about 1 round. So you're giving up a round of capacity, a little shorter grip. But overall, that kind of gives you a size perspective of what this gun is targeting. It's that pocket, deep cover, deep conceal. If you're going to be wearing clothing where it's a little more difficult to hide the gun, the XDS is going to suit you well. Look for an upcoming comparison. We'll actually do a more in-depth comparison between that Glock 42 and the XDS. In summary, if you're looking for a really high quality concealed carry gun, it's fairly light, it's 23.5 ounces. I'm sorry, 23 ounces even. That has decent capacity between 7 and 9 depending on which magazine you pick, and is really a good high quality gun. I'd say look no further than the Springfield XDS. If 9's not your bag, you can get the same basic footprint in 40 and 45. I happen to have a 45 here, and I'll put them side by side. You'll see they're basically the same size. Now, the recoil on this was actually quite nice in 9mm. It gets a little more noticeable when you move up to 40 or 45, but it's manageable in either of those particular calibers. So, if you're not a 9 guy, 40 and 45 will do it for you in the same platform. If you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and have a great day. Thank you.